we doing, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. I am Jason C. Thanks for stopping by again. This will be my fifth review in Scotchy September. We are looking at Highland Park 12 today. This is my first peated Scotch that I'm going to be trying. For those of you that don't know, I've been trying Scotch all September. I'm mainly a bourbon guy, but I really wanted to get into Scotch, learn more about it. But before we get into a little bit of this cool looking bottle, let's get a closer look. Hey everyone, I was just checking out the box as usual. Highland Park has a pretty rich Viking history. It's like as if the whiskey was designed or something out of Game of Thrones. Really cool. So before we get into this, a quick review from my previous scotches and reviews that I've done. So these are the four that I've reviewed and tried so far: Monkey Shoulder, Balvenie 12, Compass Box Spice Tree, and Glendronach. Out of all these four, all of them were very enjoyable. Monkey Shoulder was definitely a little bit more sweet. Balvenie had a nice balance of wood and sweetness. Compass Box had a nice array of baking spices, toasted oak, vanillas, and just a really, really good Scotch. And Glendronach was a sherry bomb, as everyone calls it. Just a really nice mix of Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso sherry casks, which was very sweet. For me, I think so far in my flavor profile, I'm leaning more towards these two in the middle. Even though this was very enjoyable, very delicious, maybe a little bit too much on the sweet side for me, I really like the balance of the wood and the sweet a little bit too. So that's where I'm at. This is going to be my first peated whiskey. For those of you who watch Roy from Aquavite, I just got his shirt yesterday and I'm loving it. It looks great. So I figured I'd sport it for this review. So Highland Park resides in Orkney, Scotland, which is the northernmost region of Scotland. There's only 2 distilleries on the entire island, and Highland Park is one of them. So it's really outside of the major whiskey producing regions in Scotland. Speyside has about 50 distilleries, and even Islay, which is really known for their peated whiskeys. It's even about, I think Islay's about the same size as Orkney, and even they have about 8 distilleries. So Orkney's, it's pretty remote, but that also imparts that flavor profile into what Highland Park does. They're known for their peat. It's supposed to be a very grassy and heathery type peat, a little bit different from the Islay peat because of the weather conditions and the poor conditions for trees to grow. So it's really rough seas. It's really remote, and one thing also Highland Park is known for is their exclusive use of ex-sherry casks. So in 2017, Highland Park decided to do all new packaging with this cool medieval Viking artwork, and it's just so badass looking. I love it. If you look at some of their other bottles in the store, they really stand out to me. Apparently, even with the new bottles and the new designs, the whiskeys themselves are keeping their same flavor profiles. Although some people have told me that the original 12 is different than this 12, but I don't have an original 12 to test it against, but we're definitely going to get into this one. So here we go. Okay, so Vikings Honor was first released in 1979. So this is a 12-year, obviously 12-year, that's a nice big age statement on the front. 12-year, 100% malted barley, peated barley, aged in exclusively sherry casks. So let's get into this and let's see how I do with my first peated whiskey, first peated Scotch. Oh, I don't smell too much peat on the cork there, but let's get into it. Happy Friday, everybody. Always a generous pour on a Friday. So All right. So on the nose. Okay, so I am getting that peat smell, but it's very, very faint. It's actually much sweeter on the nose than I thought it was going to be. So one note that I'm getting that's pretty prevalent throughout most of the scotches I've nosed and tasted is that that really nice burnt toasty note. It's really nice. There is a little bit of that grassy note that I get, which probably imparts from that iconic peat that they use in Orkney. And again, I've been saying this with some of the other scotches I've tried. It's a vanilla and a honey, but it's creamy. It just tastes like it's going to go down like a creamy like pudding or a creamy like ice cream. It's really good. I'm really liking this. There's a really nice balance of the light peat and the sweetness of the vanilla, the honey. There's a little bit of that grass. There is a citrus note in this that I'm getting too. Maybe lemon or orange. Really good nose. Definitely different than these that I've tried. This definitely has a much more, definitely a smokier nose. It's from obviously that peat, but there's a lot of sweet coming through too. So it's not making me scared. All right, let's get into the palate, guys. Cheers. Okay, so yeah, so the peat to me is really at the forefront because obviously my palate's not used to it. So that's what I'm tasting right up front at first, but now I'm getting sweet. I'm getting the vanilla, I'm getting the honey. I'm definitely getting a grassy, definitely like a grassy note there, which is really, it's quite pleasing. It's not overwhelming. It doesn't really taste like boggy or that real earthy. It's a sweet finish. It's nice. I'm gonna go in for that second sip. Yeah. It's actually the citrusy note that I was getting on the nose is actually I'm getting on the palate too. You're getting definitely lemon, orange, citrus type nose there. Not nose, flavor. I'm getting those burnt toasty notes in there. Sorry, I'm just trying to take this all in here. It's really good. It's not a ton of peat. I feel like the peat just kind of balances out the sweetness a little bit, so it's not overwhelming me at all. It's really nice. It's definitely a little bit floral too, which is probably from also the peat, but like a pleasant floral note, not one that's off-putting at all. All right, I'm going for another sip here. Okay, yeah, as my palate's getting used to it now, the peat now is taking a back seat to the sweetness. So I am liking the sweet now. That smoke that I'm getting, that peat flavor is not overwhelming. It's very balanced, and I gotta say I'm really liking this. This is not something that I actually expected. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I really like this. It's good. I'd be really curious to try some of the ones that have been aged a little bit longer to see how more of that flavor develops. But really good. As far as the finish, it's actually a pretty long finish. It's got a nice black pepper finish to it. It's definitely warming. You're getting that little hint of wood on the end, but mostly it's the smoke now I'm getting on the back end, while the sweetness I'm getting on the front. It's really nice. The smoke is kind of taking a back seat. It's really good. Oh, now it's getting really citrusy. So I can imagine as this opens up a little, it'll definitely change the flavor profiles that I'm finding in Scotch. When you open a bottle and let some air get into it, it definitely changes a little bit, and usually for the better. So I'm excited to see what this is going to taste like, you know, in a couple weeks or even a month from now. Because now that burnt toasty flavor is getting a little bit sweeter. So it's like a burnt toast type flavor, but with that honey on it, maybe a little bit of fig on there, or it's good. It's definitely the most complex one I've had, other than the spice tree. Wow, that's good. I really like it. All right, Vikings Honor, Highland Park, 12-year-old. Nice job. This I got for, I believe it was about 45, 50 bucks. It wasn't too expensive. And I think if you're trying to make your way from sweet into peat, this could be one of the bottles for you. So yeah, I like it. So with that, if you guys are new to the channel, I hope you like it. Please hit subscribe, hit the like button. If you're a return visitor, thanks for watching again. Thanks for all the support, and like I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's who you share it with. Cheers everyone, see you next time.